and giving back. What the NFL is doing to help our local communities when they come to town for the big draft. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And hello again, Northeast Ohio, and welcome to our Wednesday installment of What's New. I hope everyone survived our little blast of winter weather in late April. Hopefully it's done until next winter. I'm Jay Crawford. Lynna Lai in for Betsy tonight. Lynna, great to see you again. Hello.
Good to see you too. Hey, it's my first day back in the building in a year to do a show.
Wow. Well, on that note, I say welcome back to our Channel 3 studios. It is great to have you back in the building. We begin tonight with what's been a very busy 24-hour stretch. Just before the verdict in the Derek Chauvin case was announced last night, a Columbus police officer shot and killed a 16-year-old girl who was holding a knife and in a struggle with another girl. Now we have new information about the officer and the moments leading up to that tragic shooting. And we'll get to those details in just a moment. But first, late this afternoon, Governor Mike DeWine announcing a sweeping police reform bill that he intends to send to state lawmakers in the next several days. Our Brandon Simmons watched today's announcement. He joins us live now on What's New. Brandon, good afternoon to you. So what's in the governor's plan? What's he talking about doing?
Yeah, hi, Jay. Since the death of George Floyd, DeWine says he's tried to take steps to improve policing across the state through executive actions, but he acknowledges that what he's done so far is not enough. Today, he revealed he's been working with civil rights leaders, police departments, and local officials across Ohio on a new police reform bill that will be introduced by a state legislator from Dayton in the next few days. Now, some of the changes that are included, it would create a statewide use of force database to track incidents involving law enforcement. The bill would require an independent investigation of incidents that involve officers. It provides funding for additional training along with minimum continuing education requirements. And one of the big ones is that it would create a statewide oversight board similar to what we see in other professions.
There's not only state regulations, there's a state board, there's a state disciplinary board, a state board that has the ability to pull a license, to suspend a license. It's time we do that in the area of law enforcement. Again, it is a profession. We should treat it as such.
Now, aside from that, he has also ordered the State Highway Patrol to purchase body cameras, which should be rolling out soon, and also provide additional money in the state budget to help local police departments do the same thing. Now, there are over 900 police agencies across the state, and many of them have different rules and standards, especially when it comes to training. This reform bill, Jay, is designed to change some of that.
All right, Brandon, perhaps the timing of a bill has never been more perfect or more significant. We'll see what happens in the coming days. Brandon Simmons live tonight on What's New. Brandon, thank you. Lynna?
Now to that deadly police shooting in Columbus. More body camera footage was released late this afternoon showing the officer shooting a 16-year-old girl accused of trying to stab people with a knife. Here's Will Ewick with the latest.
This never should have happened. She's a loving girl.
The mother of Micaiah Bryant is understandably hurting right now and desperate for answers.
I don't know all the details about what happened here today, but it needs to stop. Policies and procedures need to be in effect. I'm hurt. I want answers.
16-year-old Micaiah was shot and killed by Columbus police yesterday after officers were dispatched to the area when someone called 911, saying they were being physically threatened. Police released more body camera footage today, showing the scene from different perspectives as an officer approached a driveway with a girl in black swinging a knife.
Get down, get down, get down.
The officer, identified today as Nicholas Reardon and who's been on the force since 2019, shouts for her to get down before firing 4 shots.
Under those circumstances, the officer's actions, once again based on those totality of the circumstances, were reasonable.
Kevin Davis, a 39-year law enforcement veteran that now serves as a court-certified use of force expert, says as he analyzes the body camera footage, he sees just cause for the officer to protect the other woman, and that a taser or other method to try and stop the incident may have resulted in the other woman getting killed.
I'd love to say that we could shoot the knife out of her hand or shoot her in the leg, but those things just aren't realistic under these circumstances, situations where the officer is shooting to save a life.
Meanwhile, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther spoke out about it today and the need for transparency.
There were a lot of things being said and shared out in the community that may or may not have been consistent with what we have seen with our own eyes here.
As BCI continues its investigation into the shooting, hundreds who were in the streets of Columbus awaiting the Chauvin verdict spent last night protesting this shooting, a tragedy that resulted in a mother losing her child.
I will never see Ma'Khia Bryant ever again. And I want justice for my daughter.
As of note, the Ohio Alliance for Innovation and Population Health recently released a study in conjunction with Ohio University where they looked at data from 2015 to 2020, and it showed that Franklin County, where Columbus is located, had one of the highest police fatal shootings rates in the state, as well, Lena, as 18th of one of the most populous counties in the nation.
Yeah, and Will, in the meantime, we are hearing late this afternoon of protests on the campus of Ohio State University, something we will be tracking this afternoon well into the night. Thanks so much, Will.
Yeah.
All right, now on your feed at 5, the Summit County Public Health Department announced it is canceling appointments at the fairgrounds for April 27th because demand for vaccine is decreasing. The site can administer more than 2,000 vaccines a day, but get this, only 50 people had signed up. Currently, 40% of residents in Summit County have received at least one dose of the vaccine. And this is just one example that has people very concerned tonight that we may never reach herd immunity. Let's bring in senior health correspondent Monica Robbins to talk more about this. Monica, good afternoon to you. We have seen statewide that the demand for the shot has gone down, and it's happened rather quickly.
Yeah, Jay, it's really concerning, and I'm sure the J&J vaccine issue last week also has something to do with that. So hopefully we'll get some better answers about that on Friday. The optimism, though, for reaching herd immunity, it's still there. But I think as this virus evolves, some are thinking it may never be possible, especially if vaccine clinics like the one in Summit County can't even fill the appointments. For the U.S. to reach herd immunity, we need about 200 million people fully vaccinated. But let's look at the other variables. We know the virus continues to mutate, and while the vaccines seem effective against some of those variants, there is concern that some mutations could be vaccine resistant. But keep in mind, pharmaceutical companies are already working ahead to make vaccines to tackle those variants as well. Getting more people vaccinated is the only way to control the mutations from occurring, and we also know we're going to eventually need booster shots if the vaccine protection begins to wear off after 6 months or so. And for those already infected, we know natural immunity will eventually wane too. Then there's the political and vaccine hesitancy issues as to why some people are just refusing to get the shot. That's why there is a new push by hospitals to get people educated and vaccinated.
Based on the fact that we need to have 70 to 80% of the population vaccinated. And what we're hearing, what you mentioned about vaccine skepticism and vaccine resistance, I think people are getting worried that we may not reach that milestone. I'm very hopeful that we will, because really that's our best approach and the strongest way we have to fight this pandemic and this notorious virus is really to vaccinate as many people as possible.
Cleveland Clinic is leading an effort for more than 6 other hospitals to educate the public about vaccines. The hospital campaign called Get the Shot and Save Lives. It's trying to reach adults who may be hesitant to receive a vaccine, including racial and minority ethnic groups and people living in those rural communities. And according to a Kaiser Family Foundation study, about 17% of the public say they're taking a wait-and-see approach before getting a vaccine. Another 20% say they will never get it unless they are required to do so for work or school or other activities. And not to mention, this isn't even taking into account kids can't get vaccinated yet, Jay. So we are well below the 75 to 80% needed for herd immunity. And some experts are saying we need up to 90. It's doubtful we're probably ever going to get there, but we are looking at this now as something like the flu. We're going to be seeing COVID popping up in different communities and it being more like a seasonal thing, and we're going to be getting that COVID vaccine every year.
Well, the facts of the matter are that we don't even have 40% of Ohio's population vaccinated yet, and we've already begun to see this dramatic lessening in demand for the shot. It certainly is concerning looking forward. Monica Robbins live tonight on What's New. Monica, thanks. Lena?
Love checking in on the progress of the NFL draft stage in Cleveland. Crews were there early this morning working on the ceiling, and you can see the stage lights, the big digital screen, everything coming together. And, you know, Jay, my husband and I were huge football fans. We brought our girls down there to take a look for themselves because, quite honestly, you know, we may never see this again, right, here in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you look at it this way, there are 32 NFL franchises, and if the draft were to rotate between all of the cities, a little bit of logic tells you we won't see it here again until 2053. So take this in as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Speaking as someone who's been to several of these live drafts in cities, they're phenomenal. The city is going to experience a buzz come Thursday of next week that will remind folks of an All-Star Game appearance, or even when the RNC was in town back in 2016, or the NBA Finals. There are going to be a lot of visitors from out of town, a ton of media, and you're going to feel something very special when you walk the streets of downtown. Please enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, just a lot of pride, too, you know,
Sure.
being here and being Clevelanders, too. Well, you know, speaking of the draft, coming up, we will tell you about some plans the NFL has to help local communities here recover from this pandemic. Plus, a milestone birthday. Queen Elizabeth II turns 95 today. How she's spending her day following her husband's passing ahead in your pop break. And Matt, tell us no more spring snow.
Yeah, Lena, you know, after tonight and maybe after tomorrow afternoon, I think I could do that. You know, we mentioned the draft coming up. That's an all-important forecast for Cleveland. We've got a pretty good idea of how late next week is going to shake out. We'll take you through that. But first, I want to talk outdoor dining tonight. Don't even think about it. Outside, just not the best, right? Head inside for those favorite restaurants around the area. We'll be back with that forecast coming up.
Well, and we have a good suggestion if you'd like to eat outside, or inside rather, but feel like you're outside. This is it right here. Remember that Italian chain Bravo? Well, the same owner is responsible for this Chagrin Falls gem. It's called 17 River Grill. Its view of the falls is absolutely magnificent, and the menu is too. Lobster bisque. They have very good steak selections and wedge salads to die for. Their signature starter is something called Heavenly Biscuits. They're made from scratch and topped with honey butter. I've had them several times, and I can tell you they are heavenly. You can check out the entire list of Chagrin Falls restaurants from our Doug Tratner. It's up at WKYC.com/Save Our Sauce. What's new? Coming right back.
Oh, sure. Hi, Al. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, I'm here, sir. I'm just trying to stay warm in the car.
Welcome back to What's New. As we just told you, we're just a week and a day away now from the start of the NFL Draft, which, of course, is right here in Cleveland this year. And the league has some huge plans to give back to Cleveland area communities as the big day approaches. January Keaton tells us what's in store.
The NFL Draft begins in 8 days here in Cleveland, but league officials already hard at work in the rock and roll city, hosting a series of pre-draft community events with pandemic recovery in mind.
With the pandemic this year, it's just been, more and more people are in need of food on a daily basis.
The events, held in person and virtually, are designed to focus on 4 key areas: food insecurity, health disparities, bridging the digital divide, and mental health awareness. The events, as well as the Draft-a-thon, specifically designed to give back to Cleveland.
A lot of projects tied to creating community gardens, planting new trees, one tied to helping to close the digital divide. So we're working with the Legal Aid Society to come in and create a library and bring technology there. And there's some youth football related events for kids to enjoy.
Melissa Schilling connects the NFL with communities all across the country to use its major players, platform, and of course, cash to leave lasting positive legacies wherever the league goes.
We're really excited to be in Cleveland next week and to just engage with the community and help where we can.
Now, the first thing the NFL says they're going to do to kick off draft week next week is they're going to donate $35,000 to the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. And they're also going to give away some NFL stuff to the folks who come there to pick up their fresh produce and their non-perishable items. Now, another thing about that repurposing the self-sustainable green space, the community garden and all of that, that is actually part of an NFL Green initiative that they're doing. They're going to take all the materials they use for NFL Draft weekend and also repurpose them as kind of a way to recycle. They said, as I mentioned there, it's to leave a positive green legacy in every city they visit. And this time, Jay, it happens to be Cleveland.
Yeah, it's a good thing. They do that in the Super Bowl cities, too. They leave behind city parks and a ton of positive revenue that the cities can use to better their communities. The NFL has always been good about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
January, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
You too.
All right, turning now to the weather. And, I wonder, was the weather word this morning for some of you a 4-letter word? When you woke up to see the snow.
Yeah, that was probably a word that was used a lot in conjunction with the weather this morning. But, Matt, for your weather word today, I decided to make a play off your Instagram from earlier today, which I have to share with our viewers. It made me laugh out loud. Matt Instagramming this morning. He said, "Good morning from the east side of Cleveland," I believe it says. Okay, Matt, so that got me into a tropical frame of mind because I woke up to 5.5 inches of snow in my backyard. So tropical is your weather word, and I dare you to fit that into this forecast.
Yeah, for sure. The kids this morning were super excited. I'm sure a lot of area kids were. It was kind of like that first snow again because it's been so long. But I don't know about you guys. I would rather have what we had this morning than 40 degrees and rain outside. To me, that's just the worst. If it's going to be cold, might as well just snow. And the good news is, I think this is our last of the season. We've got another chance tonight. There's some snow moving through now, perhaps some leftover rain snow tomorrow, and then we're out of here. We've got a nice warming trend, and then we're getting beyond Jay Crawford's May 11th date, which was the latest snowfall next year. So just looking at long-term trends, this should be the last one. Keep that in mind. We've got another wave of energy coming in across the atmosphere, though. That has kicked off a lot of big snowflakes with this one, mixed with some rain as you get down towards the south. Even still a little bit of grapple or those dipping dots kind of mixing in, but pretty decent snowbursts now coming through downtown Cleveland, heads out towards the east side, down towards the Bedford area, then back towards Elyria. We're seeing another burst head in. And this is a live look right now, courtesy ODOT of I-90 West Avenue there on the west side. This was very low visibility, and that's what these are going to do. They're going to briefly reduce your visibility, then it'll come back up. No snow is expected to accumulate until tonight. We have another chance of perhaps a coating to an inch in spots. You can see Ashland over towards Norwalk seeing some of that snow as well. The bigger picture, lighting up like a Christmas tree out here towards the west. A lot of this is rain. We have some snow mixed in. This is a sign of April sunshine going to work, that instability helping everything to bubble up. But the bulk of this off towards the east, we've got severe weather and heavy snow, a foot on the uphills of New York, up towards Vermont. How about that? But for all of us, we've got colder air settling in. And in fact, we're going to set records tonight all across the Tennessee Valley. We've got freeze warnings out for the majority of Ohio. Our growing season has not started officially in Cleveland. So yeah, we're going to have that freeze tonight. Keep that in mind as you bring those plants in that perhaps you purchase at the store. Look at temperatures though. Our average high today, 61 degrees, and we were stuck in the 30s. National Design Mart Hour by our forecast. Those snow showers will continue tonight. That's going to be of the lake effect variety. A lot of it will die out. Look at these temperatures tomorrow morning, especially inland. We're talking temperatures in the low 20s, so that is a hard freeze. So either cover up those plants or bring them in if you can. You can see tomorrow we start with some sunshine, and then the clouds will bubble up with that instability. I don't think the models are really handling the popcorn action of some of the showers and snow we might have tomorrow afternoon. So we'll go with some pop-up showers and perhaps some snowflakes tomorrow afternoon. Then we're done. You talk about tropical air, we have it coming. This takes us through draft time. Look at the upper air pattern. We get a big old ridge in here starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This will trigger severe weather in the plains next week. For us, though, here's the draft. We stay in the warm air Thursday. How cold does this air get behind the system on Friday? That's going to be the big question. Some models have us in the 40s next Friday. Some have it in the 60s, so that's what we'll have to watch. Union Home Mortgage 7-day. We start to recover. We're in the 50s this weekend. Our next shot of rain's late Saturday, Sunday morning. And look at this warm up. I've got us near 80 degrees by next Wednesday. But the big question is, do we hold that warmth for that draft or do we get a little dip? Let's keep our fingers crossed that we hold the warmth for now.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Love it, love it, love it. Next on What's New, Joe Exotic of Tiger King fame is making headlines again. We're going to tell you what he's willing to do in order to get out of jail. That's ahead in your pop break. Then, little quiz for you. What is this girl about to do? Is she about to belt out a song in operatic style? Is she about to get tackled by a cat? Or do you think she's about to do 82 handsprings in a row? Think about it. We'll tell you. It's our Worth the Watch, and it's when we come right back.
Welcome back. New details on how Joe Exotic may get out of jail and a look at a new Harry Potter store. But first, how Queen Elizabeth II is spending her birthday today. Here's Kiera Cotton with your Pop Break.
Queen Elizabeth turned 95 years old today, but instead of a celebration, the day was somber following her late husband Prince Philip's funeral last weekend. The Queen spent the day at Windsor Castle as she continues her period of royal mourning. She issued a statement this morning thanking everyone for their well wishes and support, saying, "While as a family we are in a period of great sadness, it has been a comfort to us all to see and hear the tributes paid to my husband." Queen Elizabeth was born in London on this day in 1926. And Tiger King's Joe Exotic is willing to do whatever it takes to get out of jail, even if it means making a deal with his nemesis, Carol Baskin. In a recent interview, Baskin's husband Howard said that despite their history, if Exotic would support the Big Cat Public Safety Act, then they'd help him get out of jail. Exotic, who is currently serving a 22-year sentence for plotting to kill Baskin and violating multiple wildlife laws, wants to accept their offer. In an interview, he said, "I'm the man to do it, but it's time to get an attorney general down here and listen to the evidence that I have to prove that I'm innocent." And the magic of Harry Potter is coming to New York. Warner Brothers is opening a 3-floor, 21,000 square foot Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts store in the heart of the city this summer. The store will feature 15 themed areas, interactive experiences, and a host of exclusive products, including wands, makeup, water bottles, and so much more. The flagship store is set to open June 3rd. And if you can't make it to New York, don't worry. The store is offering some of its exclusive items online right now. Back to you guys.
All right, Kiera, thanks. My mind's blown. Joe Exotic perhaps joining Team Basket. Wow. Okay, Lena, before the break, we asked what happens next in this little video. Is this girl about to belt out an opera song, get tackled by a cat, or do 82 back handsprings in a row? What do you got?
She looks like she's in back handspring pose right now.
Yeah, she is. And that kind of gives it away. Let's roll the tape. Lena, you're either going to get dizzy or be blown away, or maybe both by this video. How do I know it's 82? What? I watched it 3 times and counted carefully each time. Trust me, this little girl is doing 82 straight back handsprings. And I'm kind of queasy stomach just watching her, Lena.
Right?
That is so impressive.
How is she not dizzy?
I don't know.
Crazy.
I mean, it's like she's in a blender. And the amazing thing is, when she's at about 60 right now, when she finally gets to 82, she stands up and just chill like nothing, no big deal. I do this every day.
Wow, that's amazing.
We're running out of time.
Wow.
I don't even think we can show all 82. That's how great this girl is. Keep going. There she is. She's finished. All right, coming up in the next half hour of What's New, we're going to introduce you to Sue and her weight loss journey. And we're going to hear from a doctor who tells us about some underlying facts on diet pills. Many of us have tried them. Plus, no Cleveland Indians game today after all. Details ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. We're going to tell you about when a doubleheader will happen against the White Sox. That's next.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New on this Wednesday, April 21st. I woke up to weather from January 21st, literally. Had 5 inches of snow at my house in Chagrin Falls. Lena Lai in for Betsy today. I'm Jay Crawford. Lena, how much did you get at your place?
You know, I'm at the highest point of Cuyahoga County, so we got about 3 to 4 inches because of our elevation.
Right, not bad.
My kids were actually hoping for a snow day. I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on, it didn't even stick to the pavement.
Well, the good news, the takeaway for me on this is that when our guys assure you that this is likely it, I know they can't look into May and we had snow last May 11th, but I'm taking to the bank Matt Wintz's statement that after whatever residual stuff we're getting today and maybe tonight, that's it for snow. We won't see it again until late next fall, early in the winter. At least that's the hope.
Put some money on it.
Hey, I bank on our guys, man. They always nail, and gals, they always nail it. All right, let's begin at 5:30 with 3 things that you need to know. Today, Governor Mike DeWine making changes to the state's police reform policies, at least suggestive changes. He says a new bill is coming soon that could become law. And if it does, it would establish a peace officer oversight board, establish a use of force database, reveal and require independent investigations whenever police incidents happen. And if this legislation passes, this all would be law. No date yet has been announced for when the bill could formally be introduced, but it's expected to happen very soon.
And we're learning more about the man shot and killed at a Beechwood hotel yesterday. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office says the victim is 24-year-old Tyrone Majette. He died in the parking lot of the Embassy Suites Hotel on Park East Drive. Police are still investigating and looking for the suspect.
And number 3 today, for the 6th time in the last 8 days, Ohio's number of new COVID-19 cases went down. The state reporting 1,789 new cases today, and that actually brings down our 14-day average by 20 daily cases. That number now down to 1,963. Our cases per 100,000 still standing at 200, but I'm expecting that number to go down by as many as 10 cases when the state releases that new metric later this week. And our vaccination total, this is a story we talked about earlier in the show. It's really beginning to slow down now. We were once seeing between 80,000 and 90,000 daily vaccinations. Yesterday, the state of Ohio administered fewer than 30,000. Our total now, 4.4 million Ohioans have received at least that first dose. That's only 38% of our state's total population, leaving experts very concerned as to whether or not we'll ever reach herd immunity, which experts tell us takes place at around 70 to 80% vaccinated.
So today's top talker is about losing weight. And with obesity rates on the rise, many are turning to medical professionals for help, and some are finding success with prescription diet pills.
But are they truly safe? In our The New You series, Jason Fraser has a look at the new generation of diet pills and whether or not you should consider taking them.
4 years ago, Susan Zabo was diagnosed as a diabetic. She immediately thought of her family.
Both my mother and brother were diabetics. Both died. My mom was at 57 and my brother 60.
Susan admits when she looked in the mirror, she wasn't in love with what she saw. Soon, however, she would find a new love.
Fell in love with CrossFit, fell in love with the diet program, and we have not stopped.
Sue has lost 65 pounds.
You know, I can get down and play on the floor with my grandchildren. I can walk up and down steps without getting out of breath.
But she admits she had an assist from her doctor in the form of diet pills.
First, I was like, no, I can do this on my own. But when I hit the plateau, I was like, you know, I gotta break this somehow.
Susan isn't alone. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the obesity epidemic continues to grow.
We have easy access to food. Some food may be good, but may not be that healthy. So you keep coming with those calories. Unfortunately, because we have busy lives, we don't exercise as well.
And doctors believe unless we get ahead of this crisis, it will lead to other problems.
Obesity as a disease will lead to a lot of other diseases. Diabetes is one, hypertension, increased risk of stroke.
It's why some doctors and weight loss management programs like the one at Cleveland Clinic are prescribing diet pills.
We don't rely solely on these medications for weight loss. We need to have a weight loss program. We need to talk about nutrition, about exercise, sleep, stress, appetite control. So you do need behavior changes. But these medications may be very helpful for a jump start.
There have been serious issues with diet drugs in the past, so it's understandable that many are concerned about the safety of these drugs. But medical experts say you shouldn't be as long as it's been prescribed by your doctor. And those newer drugs have gone through rigorous testing.
We have more data, safety data that's required when you do clinical trials.
But the pills aren't meant to be a long-term solution.
But most of them work in your brain on some of the receptors where will decrease appetite.
While Susan says they have been helpful in jump-starting her loss, she keeps something in her wallet to keep her on track.
I have to look at the before picture that I carry everywhere I go in my calendar and just say, you know what, do you really want that candy bar? Because you could go back to that tomorrow. When you wake up in the morning, it's a new day. Start new. Don't worry about what you did yesterday.
Jason Fraser, 3 News.
Wow, Susan looks great. And a lot of us get it. I mean, I gained COVID-19, right? And it'd be nice if we could all get this one magic pill that, but the notion that these pills could be a jump start, along with the hard work, sure, I could see that.
Lynna, I think it's safe to say that in conjunction with a lifestyle change, in other words, being more conscious about what you're eating healthy, also adding exercise, and perhaps these pills. I saw a study recently that showed that in a very short period of time, something like 20 years, 60% of Americans will be considered clinically obese. That's frightening. So if there is some sort of pill that is safe, that will help, that could be a game changer for millions of Americans. Let's hope it is safe. All right, still ahead on What's New on this Wednesday. We're going to tell you about LeBron James' reaction to the police shooting that killed a 16-year-old girl in Columbus yesterday. Plus, many of you woke up to a blanket of snow this morning. Mike Polk Jr. has his thoughts on winter in April.
For accountability. Hello. The tribe will not be playing a game tonight. It will be moved to May. Because of the snow that is not downtown. There's no snow downtown. Like literally none. Yeah, I didn't think they called games for temperature, but it seems to be because of the snow, allegedly. No, not at all. Thanks.
Well, take a look at this. Lorain County Metro Park shared this picture on Facebook today from one of its gardens saying, wow, what a difference a day makes. And chances are you saw something similar this morning, right? Coming up, we'll share your snow photos. And I guess, we were expecting this, Matt, that heavy snow on, trees now with leaves, pulled down branches and down power lines as well. A lot of outages this morning.
Yeah, Lena, there certainly were. The snow was heavy, and snow is always heavy this time of year because you've got high moisture content. And January, it's kind of light and fluffy, but this time of year, you definitely have the moisture with it. This system overachieved for some. I think the majority of us fell in the 2 to 5 inch range, but there were some 6 and 7 inch totals, especially out east. Geauga County, Ashtabula County got it, and even areas of Lorain County. So this was an overachiever last night for sure. The good news is we can start to melt this stuff off, and we have much warmer days ahead, as we alluded to. So officially today, look at the numbers. Our average 61. We were only at 37 today. Temps didn't move a whole lot, but it still shows April can do all sorts of things. It's been as warm as 86 today, as cold as 24. So you get that wide range of temperatures, and really that's what we're going to have over the coming week and a half. We've got a wide range of temperatures coming. We've got another wave moving through the atmosphere. If you joined us beginning of broadcast, we were showing some of those webcams coming out of areas of Cuyahoga County. These are putting down some pretty good rates. It's basically heavier snow, then it'll move out, and then you'll clear out once again. But you can see the coverage of this. Tomorrow we're going to fall into this pattern where we get some clouds that bubble up, likely some showers and some snow. They'll be won't be widespread, but we'll have to keep it in the forecast. But the bottom line is the main system responsible for the snow is heading out. Cold air is heading in. As you get that cold air this time of year with that strong April sun, even up above the clouds, it really heats you up and causes lots of instability. Records are going to go down tonight. Cold air all the way down towards the Gulf Coast, really, but freezing conditions all the way down towards Tennessee. This is a big deal for them as well. Temperatures near freezing out east, a little bit warmer where we've seen a little bit more of that sun today. But I just say warmer because, 40. Hey, that's the best we can do today. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Leftover lake effect snow tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if some of this produce a coating up to an inch again, depending on where it falls. It will be pretty unorganized. That's the good news. Otherwise, we're talking freezing conditions tonight and a hard freeze of that down to the south. So if you went, perhaps to your local store and got a potted plant and you have it outside, just bring it in tonight. Everything else is used to this. All the native plants that are already in the ground should be okay. And then you can see tomorrow we start with sunshine. We bubble up those clouds and the instability, likely some showers, perhaps some leftover snow showers before that comes to an end. Mid-40s tomorrow. That's what we'll do. We get a little sunshine, maybe upper 40s, so we're getting better. Let's take you ahead over the next 10 days, shall we? Here's that little activity on Thursday. We'll dry out Friday. Looks like a nice day. And next wave of rain moves in here Saturday. Saturday during the day looks okay. Later in the day, Saturday into Sunday morning, we'll have some showers. Then let's fast forward it to draft time. Right later next week, we get a nice push of warm air. We will have a sharp cold front with severe weather to the west on Thursday. This timing is what we'll have to watch sometime Thursday into Friday. We'll be dealing with some showers and storms around here, and just how cold does it get behind that? That's going to be the number we're going to be keeping an eye on here in the forecast. Union Home Mortgage 7-day. Look at Friday, 56. How about that? That'll be nice. Get the pool out. We get rain Saturday, Sunday. Beautiful day Monday. There's our warm-up. Tuesday, Wednesday, upper 70s to near 80 degrees, and then obviously we'll keep our eye on that system later next week.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. It looks like we're going to be okay for next week's draft. Well, I'm sure many of us had a few choice words when we woke up this morning, looked out our window and saw this blanket of snow in late April. Chances are you may have even taken to social media to complain about it. But spring snow and complaining about that spring snow, it's nothing new for us in Northeast Ohio. Our Mike Polk has a few thoughts on that Northeast Ohio tradition.
3 News weather update. Despite how significantly April it is, it snowed last night. But don't take my word for it. Check out some of the many breathtaking snowful pictures that our viewers were kind enough to send our way. Thanks for those, folks. And if you still don't believe me, you need only consult the meteorological expertise exhibited on my Facebook feed this morning. And pretty much every single time the weather takes a turn. It's like clockwork. Whenever this happens, a reliable contingent of my friends and family members snap into action by documenting the astounding development of snow accumulation on their back decks. Because otherwise, how would we really know it happened? Now, in fairness, some people do express their genuine appreciation and wonder for the serene beauty left behind by such weather. But the far more common response tends to be one of exasperation and indignation, resentment that is often aimed towards either the mythological figure of Mother Nature or the state of Ohio itself. The worst offenders have even been known to incorporate cringeworthy puns. Really, Daryl? Say it ain't snow? Now, complaining about the weather around these here parts is not only completely warranted, it's part of our identity. It's as much of a Cleveland tradition as polka music and high cholesterol. You have every right to complain if you wish. Snow in late April is no fun for anyone, particularly the Indians' batting order, who all get to swing a wooden bat in this mess tonight. Frustration about bad weather is not what vexes me. It's the sense of surprise that so many people express. Did you just get here? It has literally been like this every year since you were born. It's like if someone who lived in the Libyan desert were to post on Facebook, "Wow, can't believe how hot it is out there today." Of course it's hot. You're in North Africa. Sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you, hypothetical Libyan. My point is that historically speaking, the only truly predictable thing about our weather is that it is supremely unpredictable. Sometimes it snows in May, and sometimes it's 85 degrees on Thanksgiving. It comes with the territory. And I personally like that we Ohioans get to experience every conceivable variety of weather. I believe that it makes us all more well-rounded people. We know what it is to be excruciatingly hot and to be infuriatingly cold. Every year we get to witness the quiet majesty of autumn and the rebirth of spring, even if it does get interrupted sometimes. And not to try to sound too positive or anything, because that's not really my brand, but I think our bananas weather situation provides us with a unique sense of appreciation. Ever notice how everyone is suddenly in a great mood when the weather finally turns nice? The reason for that is simple. If you truly want to appreciate what it is to be warm, you've got to spend some time in the cold. So maybe this is the last snowfall of the year. I sure hope so, but I certainly wouldn't count on it because this is not my first rodeo. This is Mike Polk, prepared to wear either cargo shorts or a parka tomorrow for 3 News.
And once again, Lena, Mike Polk absolutely hits it out of the park. And Mike says it's not his brand to be overly optimistic. Mike sometimes ribs me because that is my brand. I am overly optimistic, and I completely agree with Mike. What makes 80 in April so wonderful is the fact that we know that next week it could be 30 with 5 inches of snow on the ground. Where else can you experience that kind of weather diversity? I cut my grass 2 days ago, and now there's 5 inches of snow on it. Like, it's unbelievable, and I love it. Mike, thanks.
Yeah, I prefer not to call it complaining. It's commiserating. And, if Mike Polk is a positive one, we're all in trouble. Just saying.
You're right, and Mike's right. Normally, that's not his brand to be overly optimistic, but he's right. It's a wonderful thing, and we love it.
Well, let's commiserate more, because next we're going to share your spring snow pictures. So many of you waking up to the white stuff in your yards. Stephanie Haney has some of the best pics that you sent in. Coming up in Clicking in Cleveland. And then you've got to see our Show Us Something Good. We talked to the man who reunited with his dog lost 5 years ago.
Okay, great. Thank you.
see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, let's bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Lena. Earlier today, LeBron James has deleted his most recent call for accountability for deadly officer shootings of black people. The post that he took down showed a photo of the Columbus officer believed to have fatally shot 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant yesterday while the Derek Chauvin guilty verdict was coming out for George Floyd's murder. The tweet read, "You're next," implying for charges and a trial. LeBron's posts from last night are still up, including a retweet of the Las Vegas Raiders post that was meant to be in support of the Chauvin verdict. That read, "I can breathe," which LeBron couldn't believe had been posted. James' initial tweet after the Chauvin verdict simply said, "Accountability." After last night's spring snowfall, the Tribe will not be playing the Chicago White Sox tonight. Instead, that game will move to May 31st. It'll be a doubleheader with 2 7-inning games kicking off at 3:10 p.m. People who had tickets tonight will get a credit that they can use for any home game starting May 7th. That's when capacity increases to 40% at Progressive Field. And speaking of that spring snowfall, so many of you sent us great photos. Here's a few of them. This one from Dan Waldron is perfect because the Pepsi can really shows how much it came down in Macedonia. Ian Hill, one of our Technico workers, shared these gorgeous shots as the snow was falling and where it collected on the tree branches, which you can see right there. And this one from Joanna Shipley is just wild. This looks like a full-on winter wonderland in the middle of April in Medina. Now, I could definitely do without the cold, but those last few shots are so beautiful. And Lena, I'm definitely with Matt Wintz on this. If it's gonna be cold, we might as well have some pretty snow to look at.
Yeah, you know, it is pretty, and it is much better than a cold rain. Totally with you there. Thanks, Stephanie.
Coming up next on What's New, it was a reunion 5 years in the making. We're going to talk to the Tennessee man who reunited with his lost dog in Cleveland. It's a great story. Then on What Matters Most at 6 o'clock, as we continue to get vaccinated, remember, the pandemic is not over. Some are still dealing with the loss of loved ones. Laura Queso shares one family's story in her Faces of COVID series. Again, that's coming up at 6.
Hi, Al. How are you? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any chance of punching this up for just a second? Okay. All right. Sure. Thank you. Okay.
How much copy is it? It's the byte 16, but I mean.
Hey, Rob.
All good?
Yeah, all good.
That whole script is more than 30.
Mic check testing 1, 2, 3. Weather testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Yeah.
Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Check 2. 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone. We're still talking about officer reform here in the state of Ohio by Governor Mike DeWine.
We wrap up this Wednesday edition of What's New with our show is Something Good. You may remember last week we told you about Sam the dog. He was reunited with his owner after 5 years of separation. Sam was found in Cleveland after disappearing from his home in Georgia way back in 2016. His owner, Michael Joy, vowed to never give up looking for his buddy, even after moving to Tennessee. So you can imagine his shock and excitement when he got a call that Sam was found at the city kennel in Cleveland.
We're going to Ohio. Like, I was no question. Like, it was an impulse thing. We started walking out of the shelter, and it's almost like it clicked in his head when he saw. And like, he jumped in the back of my car like it was nothing, like he used to.
These stories always amaze me. Michael drove all the way to Cleveland, 8 hours, with his wife and daughter to reunite with Sam after learning his microchip identified where he was from. Lynna, that's incredible. 5 years apart, separated by 5 states, and when he sees him, it's like nothing had changed. Incredible.
Look at that tail going. He remembers. Sam remembers for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, microchips are so important.
They are.
Well, send us your good news. Post it on social media using the hashtag GoodNewsCLE. Text it to 216-344-3300 along with pictures or video. And you can email it to goodnews@wkyc.com or upload it on the WKYC app using the Near Me feature. So good.
There's so much bad news in our world. We love to share stories like that. Good news here on What's New. And that's going to do it for this Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching What's New. We're back tomorrow at 5, and we certainly invite you to join us then. What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, the latest.